Hey guys, it's Ross going on the Space Couch today. I've got some more Tesla updates for you. Now, the design studio for selected Model X customers who've ordered the signature version of that vehicle, well, that opened at the end of August and the forums went wild. Start to see the sorts of options that are available, colour schemes, all that sort of thing. Now, the Signature X is the top-end version, at least at this initial launch, fully tricked out, all the whistles and bells. That's why it's priced between $132,000 and $144,000. That's actually a little bit more than the Model S, probably comparable to the P90D. And like the P90D, the Signature X has got a 90 kilowatt battery, the ludicrous mode option for $10,000, autopilot, tow bar capabilities, sensors in the Falcon Wing doors to ensure it doesn't hit anything when it's opening, either parking next to a vehicle or in a garage. And it's looking like a very formidable vehicle based on these initial specs. And I expect there's going to be a whole slew of reviews and videos on YouTube very soon. Now, the design studio, however, isn't yet open for the Founders series of the X. That's like the initial people who signed up to it say. I believe the Model S had that also. And also not for the standard version of the X. No battery options have been announced for those, but that will be coming imminently, you would expect. Now, first handovers of the Signature X scheduled for 29 September at the Tesla factory, you know. It'll likely be like a few dozen at most, so they can say they got some of them out the door before the end of Q1. There'll be more following in Q4, a couple of thousand perhaps, depending on what that delivery guidance was. It was, what, $50,000 to $55,000, but cars rather, but more on the lower end of that scale. Once we get the updated Q3 figures in early Q4, I guess, then we'll probably have a better idea of how many X's will be delivered by the end of the year. And obviously next year it will be ramping up significantly. Now, in Model 3 news, which obviously everyone's waiting for, 3, Elon's confirmed it is indeed going to be revealed in March next year, 2016. And yes, it will still cost $35,000, he says. That's obviously before incentives. Now, at the unveiling, pre-orders are going to be launched then also, so you will be able to put down your deposit for a Model 3. Just on that, these guys who have selected the Signature X, they have had to put down a $40,000 deposit versus a $5,000 deposit for people who selected the standard version of the X. Let's hope you don't have to put down a whacking great big deposit for the Model 3. It will be interesting to see what sort of initial order numbers it gets. Now, if I recall correctly, when the S was launched, it had about 10,000 pre-orders, I believe. And the X is in the 20 to 30,000 range of pre-orders. The 3, could that have 50,000, 100,000 or more by the time production begins in 2017? Very exciting. Let's hope they can in fact keep up with the demand and that 500,000 cars would be sufficient. It could even be more, you never know. Now, Elon has said many times, and he reiterated this in his most recent series of tweets, the Model X is utterly dependent on the Gigafactory being up and running and fully operational. That's obviously scheduled for 2017. It coincides with the launch of the 3, obviously. But it should already be partially up and running next year in 2016 for some initial Powerwall and Power Pack business. And obviously there was that recent lithium deal as well, which also plays into Tesla's mid to long term strategies. Now, regarding the 3, do you reckon there's going to be a tricked out version for, say, 50 to 60,000? I reckon so. And probably there'll be similar battery options as there are for the S and the X. Now, there's probably going to be like lower battery options as well, like say a 40 or a 50 kilowatt pack. I mean, for the Model S, that initially did offer a 40 kilowatt battery, but it didn't prove very popular, and for a car the size of the S it wasn't very economical. But for a smaller car like the Model 3 is meant to be, it would probably make a bit more sense. Either way, the winds of change that are currently blowing through the autumn industry, it's about to become a hurricane. You know, in fact, if it's being unveiled next year, the 3, and then launching in 2017, probably really only available from 2018, I'm going to have to learn to drive, because I did say previously Tesla Motors was the only company that made me want to learn to drive so I could own one of their cars. Although I don't really want to learn to drive an ICE car when I'm planning on having an electric one. But then if I only learn in an auto, I can't drive an ICE car if anything ever happens to my Tesla and they give me a loaner. What a choice, eh? Anyway, we shall see how it all plays out. The reveal of the 3 should be really interesting. Obviously, very excited for the X finally going onto the streets later this month. Really looking forward to all the reviews and videos, as I'm sure everyone else is as well. I hope you enjoyed this quick update on Tesla Motors about the X and the 3. Obviously, when there's more news, I'll be bringing it to you, the initial reactions to the X, for instance. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or a suggestion for a topic you'd like to see discussed, or hit that like button.